Hey, a friend of mine and former pastor of mine named Bill Holly, um, he would often talk about what it was like to be a minister, to be a new minister at a church. And um, he kind of talked about like the way a new minister is received in a new church is kind of like the way Jesus was received throughout his ministry. Um, he kind of described it as like the first, like kind of described it like the first 3 years of ministry for a new minister. Year one is like blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. So like everyone is excited and everyone is thrilled that the new minister is there and ready to welcome that person and be all engaged in what's going on. And then Bill's his name. I just outed him. Bill Holly. Bill Holly said year two is kind of like, in whose name do you do these things? Kind of like this question of kind of who do you think you are? Who gave you the authority to do these things? We saw that in Jesus's ministry. And then the third year is, Bill said, crucify him. And that's kind of like over the last, and I'm laughing, and not because I'm laughing at Jesus's sacrifice, but just the mindset of the way that as humans, we can have expectations, and I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit later in the week. As people, we just have expectations on other people. We project our expectations onto other people. And sometimes those expectations are not reasonable or realistic. And this is really the experience that Jesus had on Palm Sunday, is he was welcomed into the city. This is John 12 and 13. The next day, the news that Jesus was on the way to Jerusalem swept through the city. A large crowd of Passover visitors took palm branches and went down to the road to meet him. They shouted, "Praise God, blessings on the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Hail to the King of Israel." So all of these people are pumped up and they're excited and they're welcoming Jesus. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. And we ought to pause as we begin this week and ask ourselves the question, what are the expectations that we have of Jesus? Are we praising him? Are we worshiping him? And how do our expectations of who we think Jesus is, or we think Jesus ought to be, or what we think Jesus ought to do, how do those things shape our understanding of his message? Are we really worshiping Jesus as our King? That's what I want you to think about this week as we continue to talk about Palm Sunday and we talk about all the different characters that are wrapped up in this story. What are your expectations of Jesus? What are your expectations that Jesus is going to do? What do you think he's going to do for you? And we'll talk about that this week. I want you to know I love you, praying with you, praying for you. And we'll talk to you again soon.